Welcome to episode number 92 of the Eavesdrop podcast. This episode is brought to you by DoorDash, Upstart, and HelloFresh. I'll tell you a little bit more about them, later on in the podcast. I am excited as hell. Give me some to have.
There you go. I almost got left hanging.
No, you're good. You're good. To have Miss Holly live in the studio today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're the fourth woman that we've had on the podcast, Matt. Jude, Mama Scump, Ashley, Holly. Right? I'm pretty sure. If I'm forgetting, Midnight. Yeah, I called Ashley. Yeah, Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley Midnight. So that's 4. I need to fix that. If there are any women influencers in the space that you guys want me to interview, please put them in the comment section down below. Holly, welcome.
Thank you.
Long awaited. You should have been in here a long, long time ago.
A lot of people said that. Well, not a lot. There are a few.
Enough people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's it been? What have you been doing? How's quarantine for you? Holy shit.
We are still e-learning with Bella. So everything is at home. We oh God. My schedule flip-flopped. Completely flip-flopped. Before,
but you're like a night owl, aren't you?
Normally. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I had to change that a little bit. Night owl when she gets up and goes to school, because then I can sleep while she's there.
Mm-hmm. While she's in school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With the e-learning, I have the teacher texting me, emailing me.
Yeah.
And there's just little things constantly that I have to be available for. It's messed me up a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like my body just doesn't know. Am I supposed to be awake? Am I supposed to be asleep? What's going on? So.
Well, has your schedule always been like goofy like that, where you like are a night owl? I guess so, right?
Yeah.
I think the majority of the gaming people that are working here is like HECZ and that sort of thing, like are all super night owls. Like Dashy doesn't go to sleep until like 5, 6 a.m. every day.
That's me. On a normal school year, that's definitely. I go to sleep probably around 8
p.m.
a.m.
Oh, 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So you
because I wake Bella up.
Yeah, you stay all the way up.
Yes.
Holy shit! So you stay up all through the night. You do your streamer thing, and then you're like, okay, it's 7 o'clock. I gotta wake her up so she can start getting ready.
She leaves on the bus at 7.
Okay.
So she gets up at 6.
Holy shit!
On a normal school year. So e-learning is a little bit different. They get on at 8. So if I do go to sleep, then it's
because you have to be present for that, right? Like we homeschool, so I know that there has to be an adult present, and you're the one that does that. So
not in the camera, but. There.
So you're not only doing your job as a streamer, but then on top of that, you're doing the super mom thing.
Yep.
And you're sitting there relearning everything that's being taught.
Yeah.
Do you
math?
Agree with what's being the math?
No. Have you seen the way they do math now?
No.
Oh my God. Instead of just normal addition or tally marks, they did tally marks, but then they bring in, you have to, oh God, they have a circle on top and then the lines and then it's like 3 circles. You have to fill in the blanks and add the weirdest things.
Wait, are you familiar with this, Matt? Okay, I'll tell you one thing. That's probably the smartest way to do it.
You think so?
Yeah, what we did growing up, it has to be like super dumb.
Ours has to be really similar. We're only, 7 years apart?
Yeah. Are we? How old are you?
Yeah, almost 32.
Almost 32?
Yeah.
Or almost 30?
Almost 32.
Okay, because you're like almost 32 could be like almost 30 as well.
I was telling people last year I was 30 the whole year.
Yeah.
Or I've been saying 30, and then I'm like, oh shit.
Well, it says 28-year-old gamer on your thing. Or
21-year-old?
21-year-old, yeah.
It's a troll.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to have on a bio on there. I never really took it that seriously.
Yeah.
But.
All right, so yeah, I'm 41, so yeah, it's right around like 9 years apart. But yeah, the way that
I didn't know you were over 40.
I know.
Since when? What?
Since February 9th. Or since February 9th. I don't know if you're being serious or not, but I'll
No,
take
I was
it.
being serious.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. 41. What's crazy about that learning process now and learning process back then is that it's so much better. You can literally hire a genius teacher instead of I'm not saying that traditional school teachers are anything, right? They are. They play an important role. I think they're underpaid.
Huge
I think
role.
they deserve way more, and they hold a future for our country, and we don't. But on the same side of that, it's like the teachers have to be on top of their shit. It can't be this regular, bullshit. Like they
absolutely.
need to go through serious schooling, psychotherapy, well, where they need to be psychiatrists. They need to be like child psychology needs to be in their not in their curriculum, but they need to learn that before they even step in, so they can get their raise.
Oh yeah.
But none of this like I'm just here to babysit and read this book or read this chapter.
I feel like there's definitely been those types of teachers that we've seen. Bella's teacher right now is awesome.
Yeah.
And she's on top of everything. I mean, like I said, she texts me, she emails me, she makes sure that I'm there because she goes above and beyond, which is amazing.
How many kids are in her class?
32.
So what she's doing with you, she's doing another 31 times every day.
Yeah.
Just to keep people updated. There's no mass email that goes out.
I'm sure there are,
Yeah.
but Bella wears glasses and she's sitting on the computer, so she gets eye strain or headaches and stuff like that. And Bella gets bloody noses with her
how old is
allergies.
Bella?
6. She'll be 7 in August.
Oh my God, time flies.
Mhm.
I have an 11-year-old. I still can't believe it.
I know. Where the hell does
time?
time go?
Yeah. Well,
Last year flew by. I couldn't tell you what we did last year.
what's crazy? Well, you didn't do anything, right? Because of COVID.
Well, yeah, but how does it go by that fast when you're not doing anything?
Yeah,
that's what's crazy.
My thing is like it should have been the longest year of our lives because there was nothing to do, but it wasn't. It was just as fast as everything else.
Yeah.
And they get faster. The older you get, relativity will show that it's long. It's the longest thing.
Yeah.
For a kid who's only experienced 3 years of life, that's an eternity. That's a life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For us that have been through it 41 years, like it's just endless cycle. So have you been learning the math thing? Have you been learning other things that you're
I'm
like,
actually
I forgot about
still confused about it. I'm going to be completely honest. I feel like a complete moron
it's
when I look at
three-circle method.
When I look at these papers. Yeah, I don't know. They have to write down 4 equations to figure out the missing numbers.
Uh-huh.
I'd have to show you because it's really hard to explain. Like what I'm explaining.
So like that?
No. Okay. So
Okay, let's not even go down that path because we're not gonna bore them with that.
Okay.
But I'm looking at this thing and I have to assume and I would like to believe that what they're being taught now is way better than what we were taught.
I feel like it's just longer, like more tedious.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Like it's more confusing, it's longer and tedious, and they have to write out a lot more when it could just be to the point, like what we did.
Yeah.
But
well, I think it's like the process of not memorizing. Like in school, you're taught to memorize things,
right?
Not to learn those things. Like you show up to a test and you know the questions and you got to remember the answers. That's memory. That's you using your memory and memorizing the answers. That's not you understanding a subject and speaking on the subject because you have your own opinion on the subject, which is better now that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, like, Jude and I are super disappointed in our school system, right? The school system failed her and failed me, which is why we educate or she educate or the iPad. You know what I'm saying? Educates live. But again,
that's hard.
Yeah. Well, for her, yeah.
For Bella, she doesn't listen to me like she would a teacher.
Yeah.
And she'll tell me, "Mommy, you don't know this. You don't know that." And I'm like,
grounded.
Kid, I've been around a while.
Yeah.
I know a few things.
Do you ground her? What's your...
No. I mean, she's 6.
You don't put her in timeout?
Timeouts are... Sometimes it depends, but there's nothing to ground her for. We're like, we don't leave.
Yeah.
We've still been pretty good since Grandma and Papa are at home.
Yeah.
Pretty good with quarantining and social distancing, I should say, not quarantining, because we definitely see people. But
how's hers? How's her experience with COVID? Because like, did it change a lot?
Really hard.
Yeah.
For Bella, yeah, oh yeah, because I mean, she's used to having her friends. She's used to playing with the neighbors, or playing on the playground, going to school.
I couldn't see it, but I see it. Is it one of those things where you have to like? How do you explain that to a 6-year-old?
It's really hard. I mean, she always, like, if she coughs, she goes, "Oh no, I have COVID." I'm like, Bella, you can't say that.
Yeah.
People could take it seriously, whether it's a kid or not. One time she coughed inside a Target and she said that, and I was like, Bella.
Yeah, did she say it loud enough
Come
for
on.
people to hear?
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's pretty funny, honestly. She's got a little personality. But yeah.
All right.
Something.
Well, enough about life. Let's talk about you a little bit. You're 32, about to be 32.
About to be. Yep.
Where? What month?
September.
In September. You've been doing this gaming thing for as long as I can remember.
At least half my life.
Yeah?
At least.
When did you start and how? Where are you from originally? Let's start there.
San Diego.
San
Born
Diego.
and raised.
Born
yeah.
and raised.
So I moved out of San Diego in maybe 2012. Moved to Chicago with
Oh.
people that I met on Xbox.
Wait. When? Like, okay, time out. You were born and raised in San Diego.
Yeah.
At what age, after playing online, did you say, I'm moving to Chicago with people that I fucking know?
I had
on the internet.
known them for probably, okay, so let's see. I started playing like end of COD 4 World at War.
Okay. How old were you then?
Oh God. 18, 19?
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because I was like 27 during those days, yeah.
And then MW2 is when I moved to Chicago. MW3.
With who?
It was like just a group of people that I knew online. So it was this girl, Jessica, Teresa, Paul. Oh God. There were a lot of them. I mean, they were all in like a small town. So
Okay.
I lived with Jessica.
Did you go to like a gamer house or?
No. Oh my God. Freaking Davis. I love him. Okay, so Paul, Teresa, and Austin, they're all related. So they were in one house. I started dating Paul at one point, but that's different story. I was living with their best friend Jessica and her husband Jeremy and their daughter. So they all just gamed.
And you're like 18, 19 at the time.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to get out of here.
You told your grandparents that I'm moving, or your parents?
I told Grandma and Papa, well, I don't know if you're going to want to keep this in here because it's kind of dark. My ex-boyfriend died in jail. He had gotten picked up on a bench warrant and he had an asthma attack in jail. And it was like this huge thing. The guards didn't check on him for over 24 hours and he ended up dying.
Holy shit.
And
how old were you?
This was around
same time.
So
Holy
I was
fuck.
like, I got to get out of here. But so after that, I was kind of like, I need something new.
Something new, of course.
I was working at a hospital or for a hospital and I was doing like caretaking.
Yeah.
And then I was also a nanny. So I was doing both. But after that happened, I was like, I'm losing too many friends. Like my head's not where I want it to be. I'm just going to take my own adventure. And that's what I did. I moved to Chicago, met really awesome people. And then I went.
Were you paying rent off of the money that you were making on stream? Or
No. So there I was a bartender.
Oh.
Yeah. I've done a lot of things.
Were you old enough to be a bartender?
By that point, yeah.
Okay.
So I had moved. Shoot, my timeline is all screwed up.
Hey, everyone says mine for sure is.
So I had to have just been 21 at that point. 21, maybe 22.
Yeah.
And then.
What
makes
Call
sense
of Duty were you playing when you moved?
I don't remember.
Okay, when you were bartending, what were you playing?
I think it was MW3.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, my brain.
You're good.
Hello.
You're good.
And then I moved to Omaha because bartending wasn't really cutting it, and I had family friends there.
Nebraska.
Yep.
Jesus. San Diego, Chicago, Nebraska.
Omaha is awesome.
Yeah?
Have you been there?
No.
Okay, so they have downtown, it's called the Old Market, and it's like cobblestone roads, like brick and cobblestone, and it's all bars. And it's really fun. Bars and restaurants. They have really good restaurants, like good steakhouses, good beer. They had really good beer.
So you moved there because you had friends and also you wanted a better bar scene so you can... Were you playing video games like consistently at the time? No,
not at that time.
You were living life.
Yeah.
Not on this nerd shit.
No, I went on my adventure and I stuck with that. I mean, I played here and there, but that's when I moved there, I got a job at a hotel. So...
Doing
Once
what?
again, new job. I was night audit and security.
What's night audit?
You do all the paperwork, all the financial stuff. You get it ready
for the following day?
Yeah.
And security, what?
Really boring. Security,
I know. That's
had
to
kick drunk people out or homeless people that fell asleep on, they walk in the doors and yeah.
How would you do it? What's the craziest encounter you had with?
I had an encounter with somebody. they were partying until God, like 7:30 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And I had told them, like, look, you guys, we've got noise complaint after noise complaint. You guys actually have to keep it down. I don't want to have to kick you out.
Yeah.
You guys paid a lot for your room because on the weekends, they obviously
Upcharge,
hotels, yeah. And this girl was like, well, my dad's a fucking cop. So if you want to kick me out, then do it. And I was like, all right, then bring him here. Like, what do you want me to do? Everyone's complaining. These people paid a lot for their rooms. You're not the only one here. So that was kind of, I mean, she got really in my face, and I was like, I can't do anything. I'm at work. But
yeah. And you're tiny.
Yeah. I mean, she was tiny too.
Oh, okay.
Don't get me wrong. She was small. I mean, there were some.
You could have flexed on her if you had to?
I feel like I could have held my own. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So you're in Omaha. You're doing the security thing. You're doing the hotel thing. At what point do you sort of fall in love with video games that makes you say, I want to do this for a living?
So I was able, well, from there, I got a raise, kind of a different job, and they moved me out to North Carolina.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking San Diego born and raised.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go on an adventure in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you're like, man, Chicago ain't shit. I'm going to go to Omaha. And then you're like, oh, I got to.
They're like, we have a really good opportunity, but you have to go to North Carolina. And I was like, what?
The same hotel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a Hilton property.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I moved. I was supposed to be a general manager of a Hilton. And Damon
happened.
Damon happened. And
What do you
Bella
mean?
happened.
That
So,
really? Wait. Okay.
yes.
So Damon happened first, obviously.
So
Chicken
when
and the egg thing.
I get to North Carolina, I get this job. I'm getting trained. You have to be trained for a certain amount of time before you can take management of a hotel.
Yeah.
And so during that, Damon gets picked up by Envy and moves out there. So I was
Did you
like,
know Damon
cool.
before
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay,
We were friends.
Okay. So how were you friends?
Bezo.
I remember Bezo.
Yeah. That was why. They were
So
literally
you've been playing video games throughout this whole journey.
Yeah, just not a lot.
Yeah. But still online.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like people who are casually playing video games just like get in with that crowd like right away, because you're, obviously like there's a crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I played GBs every once in a while. Like that's what my friends in Chicago did. But nothing crazy.
What part of Chicago were you living in?
Well,
Do you
this
remember?
wasn't actually Chicago. This was a small town, Mendota.
Mendota?
Right next to Rockford.
I know where Rockford is.
Okay,
Mendota,
so it's
Illinois.
like south of Rockford.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's easier to say Chicago.
Yeah, way easier.
Chicagoans are always like, you're not from Chicago, you're from the suburbs. Like, what am I going to tell somebody is that I'm from Schaumburg? Where's Schaumburg? Oh, it's in Illinois. It's near Chicago? Yeah. Why don't you just say Chicago? Because Chicagoans don't like me to say that I'm from fucking Chicago. I can't win.
Turns into an argument?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Immediately. Okay, so all right, so you're playing video games and you meet Damon, or have you heard of Damon? Like, how did that happen?
So I had met Damon through Bezo. They were twerking on Twitch. They had a twerk off.
On Twitch.
Him and Bezo had a twerk off, and Bezo was like, "You have to mod my friend Holly." So he did it. He's like, "Whatever." And then after that, we became friends. And then
was it the syrup pouring on his body that did it for you?
Maybe, or the chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh man. He turned around and smacked his butt right after that. I was like, dear Lord, what is wrong with you people?
You're like, yeah, you are my husband.
Oh yeah. So we became friends, and then he was dealing with his breakups and everything,
With an S at the end?
Yeah, I mean, he was like talking to
a bunch.
Yeah.
Damon was, for the record, the original e-girl slayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was. And I remember there was a ranking list.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
Unless we shouldn't go into that.
It was Nex.
It was Next?
Nex. Do you know who Nex is?
Oh, NEXXX.
Yes.
Yeah, e-girl slayers.
Yeah. He made like a ranking list because he was like, this is hilarious. They're all in one picture, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
So you're like, yes, that's mine.
Yeah. Yay.
All right, so you become friend. He mods you. You become his friend.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like a relationship.
Well, we started talking a lot because he was, he went through like a drinking phase when he was in Canada, And he would just call me drunk in the shower sometimes, like just super romantic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we became friends, and then he got picked up by Envy.
Mm-hmm.
I was already in North Carolina. Envy was 5 minutes from my apartment. So when he moved there, I was like, oh, we have to hang out, which was cool. Like, I finally had a friend there. My other friend, Courtney, I met on Twitter. And we drove to UMG Atlanta together. That was the first time I ever met her. We'd drive 4.5 hours away to an event. But
So you would fly, or you would drive on your own, and she would drive on her own, and you guys would meet in the middle, or
no. She came over. She lived like 5 minutes from my house.
and then you guys used to
but
drive
we
together.
met on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, yeah, once he was actually there, we started hanging out and then started dating. Then Bella happened.
Bella happens. I remember getting a call from Mr. X. Mr. X
my
was
God,
the coach
Matt.
at the time, and he's like, dude, I need your advice. This is what's happening. It's going to break the internet. And I'm like, what the fuck's going to break the internet? Like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening? Something happened to Nate Chat or Scump or something? And he's like, Holly and Damon are pregnant. I'm like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, that's not going to break the fucking internet. He's like, no, dude, it is. And I'm like, why?
He was freaking out. He called me because he's like, what do we do? Where does Damon go? Because he had just taken him from Envy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what to do with him. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know what to do with him?
People have been having kids since the early stages of humanity, moron.
Yeah, but
I love Mr. X, by the way. Love him.
He was like, does he come to New York? Does he live with me? Like, does he stay with you?
What
And I
about
was like,
you? Yeah, wait, what?
I was like, I don't know if this was during the pregnancy thing, but it all happened relatively fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, he can stay here for a little bit. Like, that's fine. I mean, we can figure it out. It's not like we have to get something right this second.
Yeah. Was he like, are you guys going to get married? Like,
he did ask that, but that was later on.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
it's the
he
age
was
of the
just
internet,
kinda-
dude. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. June and I
It was funny, though.
June and I almost didn't get married for a very long time. We talked about not getting married just simply because, you know, what's a piece of paper going to do to the fact that we've been living together and
For
have
how
a kid
long? Yeah.
for like 7 years. So, all right. So, Mr. X.
It was a little different with Damon.
Yeah.
Because he, back then, I don't know how visas were. I don't know how they are now.
Yeah.
Because he has his green card. But we did decide that we wanted to do that before Bella was born. So he would for sure be here for the birth.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then, I think it was 6 months, or you could only stay 6 months.
I don't know.
It was weird. It was something weird.
Yeah, I know I just didn't look into it just because it's from a legal perspective. It's better if I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. So you guys wanted to get married before she came, so you can. Yeah, I mean, keeping the family together is always like.
Well, I didn't want to be in that room by myself too. I'm in North Carolina. My family is all in San Diego, and you never know when a baby's going to come out.
Yeah,
So
usually
like,
9 months after inception.
Usually, give or take, but yeah, I didn't want to be by myself.
Didn't want to go
so
back.
I was
you
like,
didn't want to go back home to.
I couldn't.
Your job and.
I had my job, I had my insurance and everything. I had my doctors and they were great.
Mm-hmm.
The whole process, honestly, other than my mind going batshit crazy, that's a totally different story. But postpartum is not fun.
No? Did you go through that?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Remember X Games? I thought
no.
you hated me because of X Games.
No.
Oh God, what was the fight about? I walked out crying, and you're all sitting there in the restaurant. It was like 2015, I want to say.
Yeah, you got in a fight with Damon.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this. I don't know who you were, and we're not gonna say what girl was with you. Just,
Okay.
Even if you remember, we're not saying her name.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's always fucking with you. Why can't we have a moment alone? And you're like,
Okay.
she's my fucking friend.
Well, I was like, do you want me to be your puppy dog and follow you around when you're doing team stuff? What do you want me to do? And so that was a pretty big fight.
Is it tough? Was that tough? Like, sort of, you know, obviously he's got that thing doing. You're trying to make your own career in this. And, you know, like, obviously.
It was, back then it was different. I think, honestly, I was telling Jude this the other day, actually, is you completely changed my perspective on being a wife to a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had always said, girlfriends can be a distraction. Not that they are a distraction, but they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely feel like at that point I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you had said that to me, I was like, I need to back off a bit. Like I need to find my own thing to do and get my brain and focus somewhere else. Because I don't like being the puppy dog at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. No, but puppy dog, you mean like somebody that follows somebody around in everything and anything that they do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I felt like at most points that's what was happening. And then he'd be like, well, you can just come to the team dinners. And I'd be like, no, that's your guys' time. Like you guys have to converse during that time. Like you guys need to figure your shit out. And stuff
well,
like
I don't
that,
know. You know, even to this day, I don't know if that was the right approach or not. But I do know that there are, I have countless cases where that was a thing. It was a distraction.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say they are. You said they can be, and I definitely, I think I
remember,
was.
I don't know if you were because I never like. You're here for a reason, right? Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't do interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think, if anything, I think that Damon's support system got even stronger when he ended up becoming a better player because of it. He wasn't distracted. Look, I'm a firm believer in strong relationships and the ability that a healthy relationship allows you to truly explore and become who you want to become from a professional basis. And I think that it worked with you guys, right? Because he was known as this dude that was dating a whole bunch of chicks. Nothing wrong with that. More importantly, there's nothing wrong with the chicks, right? Like they can be players too, right? It's like mind your fucking business,
right?
People who hate on women who are who have that sort of like independence hate on it because they don't understand a world in which that's a thing. Which
that's
is the most
point
ridiculous.
of dating.
Yeah,
and I feel like people don't understand that that's the point of dating. You date to find somebody that you might be compatible with.
Yeah.
So why does that automatically make them a man whore or a whore? I mean, it's like, dude, who fucking cares?
Like, mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
More than anything, just mind your fucking business.
People just love to talk. I mean, that's just life.
Anyway, I never saw you as a distraction. If anything, I think it reinforced like Damon's sort of thing because he was no longer like who's next. It was more about like, okay, I gotta win because I gotta feed my family sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I never thought, even when you got into a fight, I was just like, man, poor Holly, man. You know what I mean? But
poor Damon.
Yeah,
poor Damon. Oh my
that
God.
situation.
Well, the Prozac that I was on, I hadn't taken it. I don't know if this is something.
You can. It's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Marijuana was illegal back then. Obviously, like it's becoming more legal now. So Prozac may not necessarily be the best thing that you should take.
I don't take it anymore.
Maybe a good indica or a hybrid of.
Yeah.
And if we were in LA, you'd get squared away, because I can write you. I'm not gonna write a prescription.
A prescription?
No, never. I'm not a doctor of marijuana.
You're not?
No.
What are you opening?
It's a brand where I mean, I guess talk a little bit about it, just if there's any confusion on it. And I know that we haven't talked, and you hit me up afterwards. You're like, why don't you tell me this?
Yeah, I was like, hello.
Yeah, so
that's pretty freaking cool.
Thank you. You know what? I wasn't nervous because I know that it's like a different age in society. More importantly, I know that our audience have grown up with us over the last decade, so that the kids that were once 13, 14 are now 23.
And they're experiencing life.
Yeah, and they're experiencing life. And, back then we did a really good job of always making it a rule that, look, and because there were younger audiences, I understood that, right? And I made it a point to be a good, not role model, but a good not want to be role model, right? I made sure that if somebody was smoking, that the fans didn't know about it, and fans sometimes found out because they were seeing on the back of a Vision episode or what.
Yep.
In those times, I wanted to tell them, it's like, mind your own fucking business. He's his own person. As much as he's sharing
and
his
he's an
life,
adult.
As much as he's sharing his life with you, like, you don't get to say or do certain things. But it would have been hard to explain that back then, and I understood the role that we signed up for. So I made it a point to be very conscious of the fact that they're young people. They are easily influenced, especially by people that they look up to. So, we made it a point to never disclose our private lives from that perspective. Like even drinking on camera or drinking or, hinting towards drinking. Like that was never the optic way. It was just never that. But, we're in this position where this weird transition period where marijuana is going from illegal to legal, and
in so many places.
And it's just coming online from an entrepreneurial standpoint. I'm like, I can't sit around and not get my piece of this market from an entrepreneurial perspective, right?
That's what I told Graham and Papa. I was like, he's a businessman.
Yeah,
he is. If
Yeah,
he
yeah.
sees something,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
gonna.
how do they feel about it? Obviously, they're
Oh,
older generation.
they think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never smoked. They told me that the other day when I was telling them
Yeah.
after your announcement, and I was like, "You guys have never gotten high
Yeah.
in your whole lives," and
Yeah.
they said, "Nope," and I was like, "How?
Yeah.
You grew up in the '60s, '70s,
Yeah.
like you were around through literally everything." So I thought that was insane.
Yeah. Let me say hello to the sponsors really quickly, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about my thing.
Okay.
Sponsor this week is none other than the greatest of all time sponsor for the podcast, DoorDash. Who doesn't love food? I know I do, especially right now where I'm like sort of cutting down on my carbs and, eating a little bit healthier. They have an option on there that says healthy, right? So whether or not you remembered to prepare dinner or buy the stuff to make dinner when you get home, worry not. As soon as you leave your office or as you're leaving your office, request the meal that you want to eat and have it sent to your home so you guys can arrive at the same time. Okay, because if you forgot that one thing in the store, you can get snacks, drinks, household essentials in 30 minutes with DoorDash. Dinner? Check. Deodorant? Check. Morning pick-me-up from Dunkin' Donuts? Check. Don't forget the sausage and cheese croissant from there. Check. Everything you need, whenever you need it with DoorDash. You want Chinese? They want pizza. Somebody else is craving froyo. Nick's only eating sushi right now. Well, guess what? There's something for everyone on DoorDash. A new year means a new you. In my case, it does. But when it comes down to what you're craving, maybe that's still the old you. That's also true for me. So let DoorDash focus on dinner so you can focus on the resolutions that matter, right? DoorDash connects you with the restaurants that you love right now and right to your door. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash application. Choose what you want from where you want it, and your items will be left safely outside of your door with contactless delivery drop-off setting. With over 300,000 partners in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia, you can support your neighborhood go-tos. Or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Popeyes, Chipotle, Cheesecake Factory, etc., 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 right? For a limited time only, our listeners, everybody that listens to the podcast, can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on the first order of $15 or more. I'll say it again. I never trust a man or woman that orders less than $15 worth of food from DoorDash. Live a little. Give yourself something nice, right? That is 25% off of your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash application and enter code Eavesdrop 2021. Don't forget the 2021 in there, right? This is new. Code EAVESDROP 2021. That's 25% off of up to $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash application at the App Store and enter code Eavesdrop 2021. I'm going to say it to you one more time just in case you didn't hear me. Don't forget, that is Eavesdrop. EAVESDROP 2021 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subjects obviously to change. Terms apply. Go do it. Go do it right now. Don't get home and be upset at the fact that you don't know what you're about to eat. Order it now on your way home so you know what you're eating and look forward to it. And it'll be warm by the time you get there. He gets there. She gets there. It's the same thing. Our second sponsor for the podcast this week is none other than Upstart. Upstart has been here before, so huge shout out to them for continuing to come back to the podcast. Certainly appreciate that. So it's simple, right? That credit card that you have, the one that you've been afraid to look at to see what the balance is because you've been spending or you've been needing to spend, you don't know what it is. If you've been avoiding your debt, it's time to confront it, right? It's time to step up to it. And guess what? Upstart can have your back on that. Upstart can help you face it and finally pay it off. Last year showed us that you never know what life is going to throw at you. Right? I mean, COVID and everything that happened in between, like that shows you that you better be prepared for situations like that because you truly never know, right? And if you use the credit cards to pay off your unexpected expenses, it can be overwhelming to manage that debt. Take control with Upstart so you know exactly what to expect. If you have multiple credit cards, you know that tracking multiple balances, due dates, and website logins can be super stressful. What you can do and what makes it easier is that Upstart makes things simple with one monthly payment in one place. Consolidating all your credit card debt into one payment is the way to go. You will literally live so much more at ease knowing that there's only one thing that you got to pay instead of like several ones. Upstart is a fast and easy way to get personal loan to pay off your debt, all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000, listen to this, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/EAVESDROP. That is upstart.com/eavesdrop. Don't forget to use the URL that is going to be linked in the description down below to let them know that we sent you. It's important that if you're going to use Upstart, you tell them that we sent you. So it's whether using the Eavesdrop code or the link in the description. It helps us continue to do this podcast because we're having a lot of fun making it. 92 episodes in. Come on. We are having a blast out here. That is upstart.com/eavesdrop. Don't forget to use code URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit income and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/eavesdrop and find out how they can help you save some cash. Shola. That is a really, really good program that I wish was around when I was growing up, especially after I'd left my mortgage industry or the mortgage industry, and I was in this little weird place. I wish that would have been there for me. Neither here nor there. All right. HelloFresh, the third and final sponsor for this week. HelloFresh. 12 free meals, including free shipping. Who doesn't want that? All right. I know I do. I know we've taken it. I've split it with Maddie. He's nodding yes. It's simple, right? HelloFresh cuts out stressful planning, grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner at the table within 30 minutes or less, right? HelloFresh offers 10 to 20-minute meals, low prep recipes, and quick breakfast and lunches. Perfect your busy schedule, right? Perfect your business schedule to make it perfect. Obviously, like a lot of people, me included, Jude included, we don't have the ability to sort of plan out what we're going to eat on a certain day. And it's always really good to have something fresh, healthy in the fridge that you can literally reach into the fridge, pop it into the oven or the microwave and get your food ready to go. That's what we've done. The lasagna is incredible. The sloppy joes is probably like my favorite. I don't know if it's a childhood thing. I don't know if it's sort of reminiscent of my old days. But even as an adult, I enjoy a sloppy joe, which makes me think the sloppy joes have been good all along. The ones from here are definitely good, so I give you that recommendation, right? Because HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need with customizable orders every single week. You can easily change your delivery days or food preferences and skip a week or two whenever you need it, right? As I was saying, Matt and I split usually what they sent over, but yeah, if you want to take part, if you want to participate, if you want to try it out, go to HelloFresh.com/H3CZ12. That is HelloFresh.com/HECZ12 with a 3, H3CZ12, and use code H3CZ12 for 12 free meals, including the free shipping, right? We're going to leave the link in the description down below. Make sure to click on it. Make sure you go over there, and when the time comes for you to pay, use code H3CZ12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. And then after that, you can figure out whether or not you want to continue with the service. We certainly have, just simply because it makes our life easier. So huge shout out to them. Thank you, HelloFresh. I appreciate you guys coming back week after week after week, supporting the podcast the way that you do. And I'm sure that everybody that listens to the podcast and wants to give you guys a try will support me and my team by doing so. So thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for the rest of the sponsors. Let's get back to Holly. So yeah, huge shout out to them. Back to my thing, I guess. So I saw this thing turning, right? And I know that entrepreneurs from the beginning of time, it's all about right place, right time. And I think I'm in the right place at the right time. So me posting that picture was a little bit nerve-wracking because I didn't know how everybody was going to react to it. I didn't know if there was going to be, people who watch me who are religious and don't believe in that stuff, or I don't know if they were like a parent that was watching. And more than anything, I want people to know that this is a just like alcohol. Like the way that I thought about it is like, if I said that I'm starting a tequila company, right, which I will in the future, people would have been like, oh, it's tequila. He's Mexican. Makes sense, right? And it wouldn't have been a big issue. But if I would have done the same announcement, during Prohibition era, right, everybody would have had a problem with it, or maybe not in the transitional. But in that transition period, the Anheuser-Busch's, you name the amount of, you're good. You name the amount of people that took advantage of that transition, and they've made massive businesses of that, So I also started to see the amount of drugs that had just been, plaguing gaming and plaguing, like,
they push pharmaceuticals like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So that's
So for me, it was like, okay, look, going through the stuff that we did with Nick, right?
Right.
With the Xanax.
I'm
like,
still not really caught up with that.
yeah.
But I dealt with that
just,
too.
You can just watch like depression, and
Mhm.
people are wired differently. And when you're from the beginning, from the very, very young age, there people who have problems with marijuana should also not have the people who have problems with marijuana are the same people. Some are the same people that are feeding their kids fucking Xanax and Adderall to concentrate at a young age. We're talking fucking 5-year-olds is what I've been reading.
On Ritalin and stuff?
On Ritalin and shit. Like that fucks that's like, it's so funky. But I'm not saying, give them a fucking joint either. I'm not saying give them an edible either. I'm not saying,
but kids are supposed to be creative.
Yes.
So there's no reason that doctors should even feel the need. I mean, maybe some kids have behavioral issues from it, but if it's not at a bad point, I don't see the point in pushing that on them.
No.
Because they're supposed to use all parts of their brain or whatever. And that's how they learn. That's how they, like what we talked about earlier. So I don't agree with that either.
Me either. Look, the second that like I was a really hyper kid that was also a little bit, maybe, I don't remember being like shy, but I do remember like having moments of like, self-awareness where I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be acting this way, and I calm down. Yeah. But if from the beginning, my parents, luckily I grew up in Mexico where, you can afford that sort of shit. Yeah. So I grew up to be a very creative person. Because of my creativity, I've been able to look at things differently in the space. Built. Yeah, exactly. And when you're put in school, and this is something that would Liv specifically, like she mixes soaps like all the time and makes a fucking mess out of this world. She adds dye to the soap and rebuilds her soap from, and I'm like, if that was my parents would have been like, what the fuck are you doing? You're making a mess.
I let Bella do the exact same.
Yeah, you just let them explore. They're fucking scientists, right?
Exactly. I got Bella this thing that has little beakers and everything, and you can make all these things with it. I don't really know what she's making, but
But they do, and they don't know either. But they're having fun, and it's explorative for them. It's like expanding regions in their brain that maybe otherwise wouldn't have if they heard like, stop making a mess. Yeah. It's a lot easier when Jude's the one that cleans it up too. Well, I mean, now Olivia cleans it, but at the time. Yeah. So anyway, through all these processes, I started doing research on the space, and I just realized the amount of power and money that it took to suppress this plant that grows wildly in nature, for people to get together, the cotton industry, to say, yo, you gotta make this thing illegal because it's better than cotton. For pharmaceutical companies who have fucking limitless pockets to say, hey, we gotta make this illegal so that my Xanax can get pushed through, so that my Ritalin can get pushed through, so that my Adderall can get pushed through. And then you have the tobacco industry who actually kills fucking people. Yeah. Pain. All three of these massive industries getting together to suppress a plant that's natural, that just intrigued me even more. So, through all of these things, I'm like, there has to be something fucking good there. So more and more research went into it, and I said, well, one, I'm a businessman. Two, I'm in a position to help if I'm able to. Right. And three, I liked smoking marijuana. I liked it in high school. I liked it, in my adulthood. It calmed me down. And Judith and I spoke for a very long time about it, and how we made the decision together of going into it, because I have a choice, right? I have to continue to live the lifestyle that I live, where I'm fucking bombarded with business shit that I gotta handle, stressful shit, and it's either I dumb and numb myself down at night with sleeping pills or with fucking whiskey or tequila or whatever and fuck my body up, or I can smoke half a joint and fucking go to sleep peacefully, get a full night's rest, and fucking be good to go in the morning. So
sleeping pills have always scared me. I won't take them. Do you remember, it was like 10 years ago probably, where people were actually getting out of bed but asleep, and they would drive cars or do whatever? What was that? Do you remember?
I do remember that, but I don't remember the instance. But yeah, people were getting into accidents. People were walking into traffic.
God. Yeah. That stuff is scary. Yeah. Like I would just rather not.
Yeah, me either. And look, I'm not me launching this thing. I'm launching as far away as possible from optic as I can. Yeah. Just because I don't want to marry the two. It's two separate things, and I'm doing the two different things.
Doing that for you.
Look, the easiest thing for me to do would be like, all right, I'm gonna create the first of its kind marijuana gaming brand, right? But
You could do CBD.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not doing it because it'd be easy for me to do it that way, but I want people to understand that I'm not pushing this on anybody, right? Like, this is something that's already there. I mean, nothing. Name a better duo between smoking and chilling out playing video games, right? Like, there really isn't any. But I'm looking at this thing from a business standpoint, and I'm also looking at it from a educational perspective, and also a health educational perspective, because pharmaceutical companies will do and take anything they can to be able to make you an addict for that one particular thing.
And it's scary.
Yeah. So I'm launching a brand. In this brand, we're launching with... I'm not gonna give the whole spiel here, but we're launching with 3 strains, traditional ones, while I work on my genetics, because I am gonna have like my own formulation of.
Do you have to go? Do you have to go to LA? And you said Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, to do the studies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Until they legalize it in Texas, then obviously that'll make it a lot easier.
Do you think they're going to?
At some point. I mean, like right now, New York rolled over, Virginia just came online, and that's like the first southern state. I think Texas is gonna be the last one to go, just simply because it's so Texas.
Yeah.
Unless you come to Texas with the approach of, look at how much money's being made, and at that point, everybody's gonna let their ears perk up. The government is ran by humans. Humanity is all about self-interest and self-preservation. So the second that you tell a Texas governor that he can become a billionaire because of this, then the subsidies here,
he'll fill his pockets.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's fine by me, right? They work their ass. None of my business. But yeah. So 3 strains.
Is Oklahoma
medical?
Medical. Okay.
Yeah, medical. Unless you go through the appropriate channels, which I do, in order to sort of have the ability to test different strains.
Okay.
So
I didn't know much about that, honestly.
Yeah. Look, I'm still learning myself too, right? Like, going into this thing, I made sure that, one, I paid respect to the culture of cannabis, like. The fact that I'm launching a business that is more than likely going to be a multi-million-dollar business, and there are people incarcerated for using the drug or using cannabis, and sometimes selling and distributing, and the amount of like penalties that comes with that, like, that's a jail system conversation all in its own, right?
Yeah. I mean, off the record, I know you. Actually, I'll just tell you after. It's not something I don't think you'd want it in this.
Okay. Well, it's not about me. You can say whatever you want.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that the guy that just died in police custody because he had a little bit of weed in Texas.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit is just like. Yeah. It's mind blowing that it's that illegal. I mean, obviously.
Well, think about this, right?
There's more behind it.
Think about professional athletes, right? How is it that I'm not gonna, because they're learning now. They're starting to. That turnover's happening. The gray hairs are no longer vilifying it, right? Like, marijuana in Mexico was really, really a bad thing. Like, I remember as a kid, people were talking match. Like, my parents and my grandparents, my uncles, like, they used to call marihuanos and shit. And there was like the scum of the earth sort of thing. Yeah, it's really, really bad, right? Like, I didn't tell my parents about that until the announcement went out, and my mom was like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew that they were gonna be supported regardless, but yeah, it's the fact that athletes can't take that, but they are forced to take the pain numbing shit that's gonna fuck them up really. Like, it's criminal almost.
Like cortisone shots and stuff. Do those? I remember Damon had to get that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is help for it exists for a reason, but to become addicted to something like that, that's where the issues come in.
Yeah, see, because they stop working. I mean, after a while, you have to go back and get another one, and it's like, if you're just gonna subside the pain, why not just do it yourself?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that everything that we know about this plant, this magical plant, and I don't want the Holly podcast to turn into a marijuana podcast, but like the thing is that we don't really know anything about the plant, or what we know is very, very minimal, because up until recently, universities, fucking private studies, like, they don't really get access to the plant in its full power. Right now, they've been, studying shit that grows in the field, and it's just weeds that grow with that. So low potency, low THC, low, like, everything in it. They don't really get to examine, like, the true benefits of the plant, and in how many ways can that plant be used, because it hasn't been, there's been almost no studies on it until recently, where you can really grow up a plant to its maturity to get the proper yield, to do studies that will eventually change, hopefully, the way that we perceive medication.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been trying to get Graham and Papa to take like CBD
Mhm.
vitamins or
Mhm.
just, I
Mhm.
mean, I know it's a little bit different,
Yeah.
but because it actually really does help with pain, especially chronic
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that smoke just because their back hurts or headaches.
Mhm.
I can't do it for headaches personally,
Yeah.
but I know that that's,
Yeah.
and I would rather do something that I know is natural
Yeah.
rather than just taking
Yeah.
painkillers or,
Think about, I mean, at that age too, like your
yeah,
body has already gone through a full life cycle almost. So your liver is not what it used to be. Your
right.
digestive system isn't what it used to be. Your lungs isn't what it used to be. So for you to just continue to throw fucking chemicals at this thing is not the right thing. You know,
Yeah.
you got to have something natural and
It's scary. I mean, you never know when you're old. You don't know when your body's just going to say I've had enough.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Look, and at the end of the day, as much as I've said what I've said, from a creative standpoint, like I think differently, I draw differently,
mhm.
I imagine things differently. My content is better in that. So as much as it is for the good, it's also
Yeah.
really really fun, and I don't ever want that to be like a lost cause because I'm just a happier person, better to talk to
Yeah.
when I'm on that, when I'm chilling like that. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to give a little
Absolutely. Thank you
explanation.
for telling me about it.
Yeah.
I was curious for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think the majority of the people were. And look, I'm a from a business perspective, I made sure that I spoke with every one of my partners, right? Like whether it's a sponsor, whether it's
Yeah.
whatever. And I told them like, this is how this thing's happening, right? And they're like, okay, cool. As long as it's not, as long as you don't do this or as long as you don't do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I wasn't gonna do it to begin with, but I agree. Like we're on the same page. So from that perspective, I think that I covered my bases well. And the reception that I received on that post, which wasn't even an I guess it was an announcement, but I haven't announced the name and I haven't,
Right.
you know what I mean, or
It's not complete.
it's not complete. Like the reception that I got was like incredible. The amount of people that reached out privately and said,
Yeah.
"Hey, super smart, thank you." You know what I'm saying? Because the way that I envision this thing is like I know that there are a lot of people that are influencers that have like a lot to lose that may not necessarily take the leap of faith that I took.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm down with it. Like I've accomplished a lot in my life, which puts me in a different position as them. So I'm like, okay, and I'm a figure in esports, right? And I've done everything right, and I've never been a part of any drama aside from the business stuff that has painted me or made me look like I think I'm a stand-up guy. I do think that. So I figured,
I think you're okay.
thank you. So I figured that if I approach this thing the right way, then
Yeah.
more than
bring light to
I are going to be able to benefit from this.
Yeah.
What's good about this is that because of my experience and going through this whole year process, that it's going to make it easier for people like me or people in my industry to come to me and say, "Yo, Hector, how can I do what you did?"
Yeah.
And then I can be like, "These are how. This is how." Right? Because this
Yeah.
is this isn't just for me. This is for everybody to be able to launch their own business.
Well, and it's also a learning process for
Yeah.
so many people that
yeah.
haven't even gotten their foot in the door.
Yeah.
So it's
And the amount of people that have gone through the process, obviously, again, being very mindful of the culture, the cannabis culture that has existed before I even decided to step into it. Like it's long, and there's been a lot of trials and tribulations. There are people that
Yeah.
have actually put their lives on the line for this. So for me to come in and just pretend like I'm gonna do this just because I can, that's not how it works.
right.
You know what I mean? Like think about the amount of people that come into esports and saying it's like, "Hey, I got money. I'm in esports now." Like that's not respecting the culture. And
Yeah.
on that same lens, I wanted to make sure that I approached it that way. That I approached the. What's up, man?
Happy birthday.
It's today. Happy birthday, bro! Yo, happy birthday, Dashi! Shout out to the podcast, man. So through research and the people that I partnered with to do this, who have been in the industry for a very long time, there's this very 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 smart woman that's working with us. Her name is Kiana. She has been in the cannabis industry for 18 years, and she's like a power woman, in that industry.
18 years?
18 years, 18 to 20 years in the cannabis industry.
Wow.
Yeah. So before it was legalized
Yeah.
in even California, she's been in it. So, sort of partnering with people who have been around and been part of the culture for that long was like super imperative to me.
Yeah.
And luckily I'm gonna have them on the podcast as well. I'm gonna have Kiana,
that'd be really
Tyler,
cool.
Max, and the people that are helping me just from an educational standpoint. I want people to understand what it is. but more importantly, like it is an industry, and the dynamics in the industry are so complex that I'm still learning, and I always take my hat
I
off
feel like
when
you'll be learning for a while.
yeah, I mean,
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. I mean, but you know, it is going to be fun. It's a fun process. I'll tell you that much. Every single time that I've been to LA visiting the farms, like it's an experience. Becoming a sommelier of sorts, right? Understanding like the gassy, the citrusy, and the fruity flavors, and what each individual. It is such a magical plant that it on its own it tastes like strawberries. Okay, on its own, it's well, I mean, with a little crossbreed here and there, but it can also taste like chocolate. It can also taste like fucking skunk piss and blueberries. And
skunk piss, yeah, that's a good one.
It's really good, right? But
is it like greenhouses or is it like fields?
No, it's greenhouses.
Okay,
greenhouses, fields. I mean, it's both. There's different growth. There's different growth strategies on different things, and I've visited like farms that are super high tech. I visited farms that are like lower tech, but they use a lot of nature in it. Like some have like natural sun that goes into it. Yeah, very organic. I mean, it's all organic, right?
Know,
but like the way that they water them is not organic because there's human technology that feeds them, and the lights that we created for that, like that's different. But you never really know the nutrients that are in a single ray of sun, right? Like a sun ray, it has its own nutrients that we'll never be able to understand, or maybe one day. But to capture a ray of sun and to understand its photosynthetic value to a plant, we'll never fucking know, right?
You can go back to Bella's school. She's learning about photosynthesis right now.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, different growth strategies. The farm that I'm partnering with for my operation and for my genetics, like it's a little bit of both. And I wanted to create a HECZ Weed Co. That's not the name, but HECZ Weed Co. headquarters. That one day people are going to be able to come and join me and have a party or hang out and just do cool stuff. Why did this turn into my podcast? I
was interested, honestly.
Well,
and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And just don't know how to bring it up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean, you answered a lot.
More than anything, yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally the first time in esports that we're seeing something like this.
Yeah.
And that people are even, what's the word? Just like aware that people are smoking weed or taking CBD or whatever. I mean, it's never been something that's publicly talked about. No. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's been vilified for I think that's one of the first things that I said on my vlog. I'm like, the reason that I feel comfortable talking about that right now is because you guys are part of a generation in which marijuana wasn't vilified the way that it was in my generation or generations prior to mine, where it's such a gateway drug, right? Like, yeah, it's a gateway to understand medicine in a way that we haven't in the past. It's definitely a gateway drug, but for a benefit that transcends what we've been experiencing as fucking Percocet addicts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, and you're right? Like the openness that is happening now is only gonna put it in the front line. I've always attributed the fact that like the scariest movies have always been the ones where you don't see the monster, because your imagination is far worse. Your imagination can think of the scariest shit for you that you don't even have to see a monster, right? And I think that that's the way that marijuana has always been perceived. It's always been in such a background sort of like scenario that no one ever gets to see what it looks like. But when you look at it, it's just like a regular flower. When you smell it and you're like, what the fuck? Why does it smell like bananas? It's not a banana plant. You know what I mean? It's really, really cool. One day I'll be able to give you...
Do they smell like that?
Oh,
like different plants actually have like...
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
I was mind blown. You have no idea. The amount of shit that I've learned in the last 3 months, I never would have thought that something like that existed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like picking to choose or modifying a plant to smell a certain way. It is the like to this day I don't understand it. Shout out to all
really
the genetic.
Cool, I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like this skunky smell.
Yeah, look, I think and Matt and I were talking about it internally, and me and other people have been talking about internally as to how we sort of create content, because it can't live on this channel, right? Like on this channel, it's got a history of vlog. There'll be aspects of it that I share, but like from from an educational perspective, like I think that I'm gonna have to launch like a separate channel where the smoking podcast is gonna be. I know the name of it. It's fucking so.
Oh, you
dope.
have one already planned out?
Of course. I'm looking at this. I'm approaching this the same thing that I would approach anything else, right? It's not just gonna be I'm not just gonna be selling weed, right? I'm gonna be a part of a bigger culture, and as such, I'm gonna bring my best. So
that's awesome.
Excited to share that later, but for now, Holly.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So tell me a little bit. Well, you've been playing Warzone a lot since it came out, and that's where you're sort of been taking off. You took off so much that you started playing with David Dobrik, and we won't talk too much about his situation just because I'm
that's
sure that
separate,
But how did that come about?
Caesar Skies.
Yeah, Skies. Yeah, Bueno.
So he
Caesar
invited
Skies.
me.
Bueno. I'm not just an athlete.
He's hilarious. I love Caesar. He invited me one time. David kicked me from the party and thought that it was just like a random person, because they had the lobby open. And Caesar was like, no, that was my friend. So they invited me the next game. We got 2 wins off the bat. So David and Caesar were like, okay, David likes to win. He's competitive.
Yeah.
He's not the best.
Yeah.
But he's very competitive.
Sounds like me.
So, I mean, me too. But I got the competitiveness from Damon for sure. Being around it so much, you're like, you turn into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we played a few times a week for a little while. He's really funny. He's really cool. And yeah, I mean, that's basically, I played with him, Tim the Tapman, and Nick Merckx, and people are still coming to my stream to this day. Are you the one that played with Tim and Nick? And I'm like, yep. 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But yep.
That's good. Well, it goes to show like the power of Nick and Tim. Like those dudes are such innovators in our space. Like I think that their approach to streaming is so much different than what we've experienced, even up until a couple of years ago, right? So, like I see nothing but super bright future for both of those dudes. They're just doing everything, and they're doing like I think Nick specifically is doing like all the right things now, doing the workout shit.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's vlogging but live, which is like, remember those live streams, those live streams where people were walking around, Ice Poseidon,
Periscope.
Periscope, was it Periscope? No, I think it was on Twitch.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, just chatting.
I think so. I don't fucking remember, but I never watched, but I was aware of what was happening. But I think that him including them into that sort of thing, it's going to be more and more common to see that sort of thing, like people sharing their whole lives. And if you think about it from Nick's perspective, it's like, well, I gotta work out. I'm like, man, I can help other people sort of get on the fitness grind while still doing my job and not doing the hard part alone. And I can guarantee you that he's working out harder because there's 38 to 40,000 people watching him. Yeah. I think Joe Rogan said something. I was like, live your life as if you had a documentary crew following you around at all times. Because you would be a different person. Because when you're alone, it's one thing. When you're in front of people, that's when you really get out there.
Because you can slack off.
Yeah.
Slack off or take little breaks here and there. I mean, I'm the worst at working out, so.
Yeah.
I know I'd be doing my the most if I was on camera.
Yeah.
Which will never happen.
I think that's what it's gonna take for me to, get fit. Because it's just no other way. I'm gonna slack off.
I'm just lazy. When it comes to working out, I'm just so lazy. To be completely honest with you guys, I just don't like it.
No.
And I don't like sweating.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Not your thing.
No.
No.
It grosses me out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about me. I used to love playing sports, and I think that was like as far of an exercise as I would get. I play basketball every single day growing up.
Yeah.
And then corporate happened.
See, we had a pool and we had a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things.
We found exercise elsewhere.
I mean, you run thousands of miles a day in Warzone, don't you?
I do. My thumbs are pretty strong.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yep. So where do you see this, like? Obviously, now that you're not playing with David, you're still streaming daily, and you're still doing that. Like, what are some of the?
Mostly, the game is kind of in an iffy state right now.
Yeah.
So it's not as fun. Do you ever watch it, or do you ever play it?
Your stream?
No. Just Warzone in general.
Yeah.
Okay, so like the radiation and like just the weird things that they've added
Yeah.
that they don't have an anti-cheat, and it's just like
The
so you get
the
cheaters.
missiles are so fucking loud.
Those
Like,
are
what
really
is-
loud and annoying. It's like, what are you doing to the game? But
Once a game be fine, but the fact that it's always there, like it just doesn't do it for me.
yeah,
Yeah, and the fact that those missiles don't crash into a helicopter, like it should. Like if that was a thing, like oh shit, here come the missiles, lower your helicopter or like go
Get
get
away.
higher
Yeah.
altitude. Then yeah, but the fact that they don't, like, what's the point?
I thought that's what they did. I thought when they landed, they were going to kill you. Like when it first
Yeah,
update came out, I thought that's what was going to happen,
Yeah.
and it didn't. And I was like, so what's the point? Is it so you can't hear anything around you? Because you can't.
mm-hmm.
They are so loud. It's unbelievable. You can't hear anything in the game.
No. So yeah,
But-
it is in an iffy state. Do you play anything other than Call of Duty? Have you?
I did
branched out?
yesterday.
What?
I played an escape room game, which was actually really interesting. Have you done an escape room?
No.
You've never done an
No.
escape room?
Uh-uh.
Have you?
No, he hasn't
What?
either. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to.
There's one
There-
right there, like an escape room. There's one literally.
Can we
5
go do it?
We're doing a podcast on it.
Okay, well, sometime. They are so much fun. So you have 60 minutes usually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll let you figure it
I
out.
can't
But you
be the
have
only
to an
one.
escape.
Well, we can't be the only two, Matt.
This is like, we used to do these at events. We would
Yeah.
go to escape rooms.
Yeah, I watch programs and sleep during events. That's like my
that's-
events are. I miss events because that was like the only time where people that I do business with or whatever, like they're like, oh, he's at an event, that's why he's not picking up the phone. I'm either watching a game or watching a program and eating and
Yeah.
shit. Like
Relaxing
yeah.
for like the little bit of time that you can.
Yeah. Oh my God. Taking naps like during
Yeah.
the day, never. But at events, 100%. I'll text you. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take a nap. She's like, all right, and then I'll fucking pass out for like an hour and be like, wow, this is amazing.
Oh, I miss it. Like I just miss socializing with people.
Yeah.
But
What's the one yearly event that you miss the most?
Anaheim.
Yeah, everyone's answers that. When did you
I mean, it's the most fun, and you usually have the best weather.
yeah,
Usually.
and
I
then you
mean-
got Disney after the event, so it's like
I mean, Florida's not bad, but that was for champs. So we had taken Bella to Disney World for her birthday, the year that they won champs.
mhm.
So that was really cool. But Anaheim is probably just, I mean, you get everything.
Yeah, the social aspect of it is so fun.
Hmm Oh, the
So
Hilton
fun.
Bar?
Yeah,
That's my favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
you're shoulder to shoulder and you can't even have a conversation with somebody without screaming.
yeah.
But it's still a blast.
But you can talk to a different person throughout the night and never get tired of it.
oh, I know.
Right.
It's
You'll-
literally.
You'll be with your group,
Hmm
and then you're like, drinks, yeah, and then you go and you don't come back to this group for like an hour and a half. Right,
Yeah.
and they've gotten their own drinks because they're like, "Where's Holly? Oh, she's talking over there, but she went from there to there." Like, that's what I liked, and that's what I miss about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you can always find Kristen in one spot.
Abner.
Yep.
Mama Scump.
Mama Scump. She's like my favorite.
Yeah.
I freaking love her.
Yeah.
But she will always sit like in the same spot on the left side of the bar, not the far left because it's a U shape.
mhm.
So she's kind of in the middle on the left side, and she's
Yeah.
always there.
Yep.
Every year.
Yep.
And I love it because that's like,
That's
if you need to
You
talk
know
to her,
where
she's
peop-
right there.
Yeah. Like the community aspect of it is like the one thing that I will miss because
Mhm.
that's like the only time where you'll be able to say hello to everyone and catch up with people and not feel like you're ignoring them or not feel like you're forced to talk to them or not
Right.
feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
oh,
like
yeah.
during the day you're there for work, right? So I got to make sure that the players are at media. So if they get caught up signing autographs, I got to be like, yo, we got to stop. He's got to go backstage,
Right.
right? And then you're taking pictures, and then you're going to do your activation, and then you're doing this at the booth, and you're doing that at the other booth. So catching up with people is never a thing, and the Hilton Bar gave you that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I mean, other events are so spread out that people will be at this bar or like Miami.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many places, and you'd call somebody and you'd be like, hey, we're all here, and they're 2 miles down the road at a
Yeah.
completely different bar, and you're like, okay, I get it's Miami, but we were
And
all
you-
planning on
yeah,
like,
what
you
sucks
know?
about that is that they're having such a good time over there, but you're having such an incredible time
Yeah.
over here that neither of you want to leave
Exactly.
that good time. Yeah.
Yeah, it made it really hard.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Miami. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm.
I'm not a big fan.
I mean, it was cool,
yeah,
a good experience for the most part, but
yeah.
Event-wise,
was not. Yeah, it's too far. If they would have done it at a hotel, and I understand, like obviously the how big it's grown, it has to be in stadiums,
right?
But not having a hotel bar that everybody can congregate around, like it defeats almost the purpose of that. The purpose is competition, but it's also community, right? That's what made esports.
Right.
Sharing drinks with fans was super cool. I had to put a stop on, like, yo, this person wants to buy you a shot. I'd be like, yeah. Before you know it, you're fucking so drunk that you're gonna give somebody a bad experience. You know what I mean? So
I couldn't do that.
So I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
I swear the last time I had shots was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't. I drink beer and that's it. I get way too drunk way too fast. And I don't know if it's because I don't ever drink now or I'm just a super
person.
lightweight, but no, I have a few beers and I'm good.
Yeah. Does Damon drink a lot?
No.
No, right?
Mm-mm.
He's such a myth, that dude. He's so, like, you never really know, like,
what's
you
going
obviously
on up here.
Yeah.
No, I don't. The one day, like,
tell me your schedule. Like, what like when you guys wake up, like when do you guys see each other? Is it in passing, like Damon's off, so I'm gonna get on, or?
It's mostly in passing, but it also depends on my schedule from Bella.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a whole cycle.
Yeah.
So if I mess up my schedule and I just stayed up all night, because once I hit 2 a.m., if I'm up past 2 a.m., I'm staying up until she has to get up for school because I will not wake up to alarms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the worst at it, and I get this anxiety, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not going to have her up in time, so then I end up staying up. And that happens a lot more than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Not very good at keeping a good schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly passing. I always bug him for dinner because I think dinner is important.
Yeah.
Family time. He may or may not be in a raid, so sometimes we don't get Damon for dinner. But
yeah. Roll rust is not going to rust itself.
Yeah, I know. He always asks me, "You want to get on so you can farm for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's about as fun as watching paint dry. Thank you.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about that is that, like, I don't think I've ever done that part where I try to include, like, Jude in so we can spend more time together. So I find it easier to just get off the game completely instead of, like, trying to sit there and tell her how to fucking drop shot. You know what I mean?
I feel like it would be easier for him too if he just, he got off the game. He doesn't have to yell at me, because he's very competitive with whatever he does. So when he's trying to teach me, he's not a
good teacher. I'm not a good teacher either.
Not with me.
Yeah. Jude will say the same thing about me. So I lose my patience.
It's same
I'd
with
be like,
him.
God damn it, I told you 5 fucking times, Matt.
Yep. That's him.
Matt, I'm not a good teacher. Yeah, see? Look how good he is. He said I'm fine.
That's funny.
Yeah, he knows not to say, yeah, you suck. You know what I mean?
Even though he knows you do.
Yeah. Look, the checks don't write themselves. You know what I mean? All right. Well, anyway, anything else you want to catch up on? What's up? What's been up? What are your plans for the year now that COVID is coming back online? There's LAN events coming up, but maybe no.
I don't know anything about those. Does anybody?
No. My thoughts are that it's gonna be a LAN event with no spectators, and there won't be any spectators until Champs. But I don't know, and I don't want to talk out of turn.
Champs
obviously.
is usually in August, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to talk out of turn because it's not my place and it's not. But me thinking about what makes sense and what I see the world doing, I think that we're gonna take the safer approach, as we should, as a leader in the entertainment sports industry, not just esports but traditional sports. I think that we're gonna try to set a good example and say this is how we are gonna do it. So I don't think there'll be spectators until Champs, and even then, what does that spectatorship look like? I don't know. I don't know if it's feet apart, whether or not you have to have had COVID tests done, quarantine. That's why we were talking. Dashy and I were talking, and I showed it to you when you came in. The Hilton, what was that? The Nashville, the Gaylord.
The Gaylord, yeah.
Yeah, the Gaylord, which is a bubble.
A bubble, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that place is awesome.
Yeah, and if you quarantine there, like, you don't need to leave. You literally don't need to leave. They have everything.
Food, the rooms, shopping.
Yeah. Entertainment.
Everything. Yeah. They have the rooms but how big were the spaces? Would it be enough for spectators in them? Because that was 4 years ago?
Yeah.
We didn't have crowds like we do now.
No. The other thing is, like, imagine like you're quarantining with I don't know how. I'm not the guy to figure this out, but like I'm thinking about it. I was like, well, so we have to quarantine with like everyone, the spectators, fucking booth workers.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how that works. So that's what I'm saying. Like
I wonder how long you'd have to be there.
The logistics behind it is was like one, expensive, and although we can hold our own, we don't have hundreds of millions of dollars at our disposal to get quarantine tests the way that traditional sports do. So that's like one. So I don't know what the logistics. So common sense to me in my head, I think that we don't have spectators for the lands, but there might be spectators for champs.
Unless they bring it to Texas. Because did you see the baseball?
Arlington? Yeah. Roger was there for Arlington Center. 38,000 people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Look, the thing about this is that it always turns into a political thing instead of what it should be, which is just, we're talking about a virus and a pandemic,
right?
But people immediately fucking, and on both sides,
political.
Right? On both sides, liberals, Democrats, everybody has their point of view.
Yeah,
I choose to just follow what makes sense for me. I'm as middle as they come, right? Because obviously, like I'm stepping into a world of this, but I also like to shoot guns. Right. I also would love to keep the majority of the money that I make. Yeah. Right. But I also like all.
I mean, you work hard for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But that's not what Hutch says.
Oh, okay.
Hutch says. Hutch says tax.
He disagrees. Okay.
Yeah. He says tax hacks.
See, I don't talk politics. People bring it up. Of course, there's always going to be people in streams or anything that they want to bring it up, and I'm just like, nope.
Holly, I gotta say, you'd be good at a podcast. Have you ever thought about doing your own podcast?
I have not.
You should.
I mean, they're interesting. I've never done a podcast in my life until now.
I think you'd be good. We should talk offline.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything else you want to say?
No, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, sorry. You're right down like right here, so I'm like
you're right down the street, so this won't be the last if that's cool. I'll bring you back. Maybe I'll do a couples therapy the way that what's his name? Hitch? Oh, wait. Casey used to do that, couples therapy, where we bring you and oh my God, me, Jude, and then you and Damon, and people pick topics for us.
Oh God.
I think that both Damon and I will get the worst of it. Like, how often does Hector fart throughout the night? You know what I mean?
Oh,
like that
don't
sort of
talk to me about Damon farting.
Does he?
That is one thing that grosses me out so bad because he'll just like completely roll over dead asleep and just let one rip. And I'm like, dude, I'm right here. I'm literally not even 6 inches away from you and you're just letting it rip on me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Boys are gross.
They are disgusting.
We are gross. Yeah, we're nasty. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any questions or anything for Holly, you guys can find all of her information in the description down below. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being a good guest. And I think that you have a future in podcasting if you apply yourself to it, if you'd like to.
I appreciate
you can always use the studio here if you want to.
Sounds good.
What would you call your podcast? Because it can't be Hollycast.
No. That's a good question. I have no idea.
Well, I wouldn't want you to say it here even if you did. We'd make Maddie caught it. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, please remember to not leave without leaving a like. All our information, all our socials will be in the description down below. Huge shout out again to DoorDash, Upstart, and HelloFresh for sponsoring the podcast. Certainly appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.